Welcome to another startup and complete car documentation. What we're looking at today is a 2019 MINI Countryman All4.
This Countryman is painted in midnight black with a contrasting white painted roof.
It does have smart key access on the front doors. The front door panels have storage areas with bottle holders. You have ambient lighting as well. Your tailgate release. And you got your usual power windows, locks, and mirrors. It also has a premium Harman Kardon sound system.
This one comes in the carbon black interior color scheme. The seats are finished in Sensitech leatherette upholstery.
Both the front seats are fully powered, and the driver's seat also has two-person memory settings. Now that we're behind the wheel, let's go ahead and start it up. And along with Smart Key, it also has keyless ignition, but it's not a push button, it's a toggle switch, so that's pretty cool.
The original Mini was a British icon, not only for its looks, but also its famous space-saving strategy, using front-wheel drive and a transverse-mounted engine to maximize interior roominess. Long story short, by the dawn of the 2000s, the Mini nameplate was now under the ownership of German automaker BMW, and for 2001, they came out with the Mini Hardtop, which was a modern take on the Mini, using a larger, much more modern platform, albeit with plenty of retro styling cues to pay tribute to the Minis of old. Over the next several years, Mini would introduce more models into its new lineup besides just the hardtop. One of those new models was this, a small 5-door crossover known as the MINI Countryman. The Countryman made its US debut for 2011, and as of 2022 is still in its second generation. The model was not only the first full-on 5-door Mini, but also the brand's first crossover and its first car to offer all-wheel drive. This 2019 model we have here represents the Countryman's second generation, codenamed F60, which made its debut for model year 2017. It rides on the same architecture as some of BMW's newer front-wheel drive cars like the current X1 and X2. For 2021, the F60 Countryman got a mid-cycle refresh. The US market 2019 MINI Countryman came in the following model variants: Cooper, Cooper S, the high-performance John Cooper Works, and the gas-electric hybrid Cooper SE. Then we come to the engine options. The standard Cooper uses a 1.5-liter turbo 3-cylinder with 134 horsepower. Then there's the Cooper S like this one, which uses a 2-liter turbo inline-4 with 189 horsepower. The John Cooper Works also has a 2-liter turbo 4, but this time around making 228 horsepower. Finally, the Cooper SE pairs a 1.5-liter turbo 3 with an electric motor to make a combined 221 horsepower. Cooper and Cooper S models can be had with either front-wheel drive or the MINI All4 all-wheel drive system. The John Cooper Works and the SE have all-wheel drive as standard. As for the Cooper S All4, like this one, there's two transmissions to choose from, those being a 6-speed manual or an 8-speed automatic. Within the main Cooper S model are 3 trim packages, which are Classic, Signature, and Iconic. The one in this video is a mid-range Signature.
So as for the instrument cluster, you have 2 analog gauges, your tachometer and speedometer. You also have this nice fuel gauge as well, and then a central digital info display. You can go through that via the button on the end of the stock. right off the bat, some of the stuff you got here. This one is a nice John Cooper Works 3-spoke design, leather-wrapped multifunctional steering wheel. Very big sport grips. You also have red contrast stitching and perforated sections. Also paddle shifters to manually shift the transmission. And as for controls, on this side you have your cruise control, and then on this side you have your audio and hands-free phone controls. The steering wheel is tilt and telescopic. Your headlight controls, also fog lights, air vent. Right here is your high beam and turn signal stalk, which also has your information display control. And then on this side is your wiper stalk. So going down the center of the interior, got a speaker up top, air vents, and here is your central infotainment screen. Normally this giant circular area front and center on a Mini would be a speedometer, like in the older ones, but this one is an infotainment system. You have a screen, or you can control that via here. We'll go over all that in a bit. A little bit of storage. You have your hazard switch and your intelligent safety button. Some physical controls for that, your volume, power, tuning, different modes, your presets. All the controls for your dual zone automatic climate control, 3-stage heated front seats as well. And then here are, this is pretty cool, you got all these toggle switches as opposed to your boring buttons in most cars. Your auto start stop toggle, traction control toggle, the, well, would say push button ignition, but your toggle switch ignition, and then your drive mode selector. So you have 3 driving modes. You have sport, mid, which is like a normal mode, and then green. Below that you have a USB port and a power outlet, some storage, 2 cup holders, there's the backup camera as well. You have the electronically operated parking brake, and then all of your information or infotainment system controls. A little bit of storage. You also have a 2-tiered center console. You have an auxiliary sun visor on this side. The rest are grab handles. Both the main sun visors have vanity mirrors and lights. Now we'll go on to the overhead console. So you have your overhead lighting. This is your power sunroof control, dual pane. And this is pretty cool. You can go between the different ambient lighting colors. So and you also got your passenger airbag indicator and your roadside assistance. So finally, here is the infotainment system. You can use a touchscreen. I'll be going through with this set of controls. Now, bear with me. This is my first time checking one of these out, so I may miss a couple things. First of all, this ambient lighting ring, if you turn the volume up on the radio, it does this. I'll just do a brief overview. This is a pretty substantial system, really cool though. My Mini, so it's mainly your vehicle settings, stuff corresponding to the vehicle, all sorts of settings, change how different things work. This is pretty cool though, MINI Country timer. Click on vehicle status. Sport displays show the power and torque you're using. Driving info, I mean, I can go on and on with this system. Even have an owner's manual. Got media and radio, so all the different ways to listen to music. You have AM, FM, XM, Bluetooth audio. But now we'll go ahead and roll down the driver's window. All 4 windows are fully automatic. And have a look at the engine bay.
This Cooper S Countryman signature is sporting 18-inch 10-spoke alloy rims painted in a gloss black. Powering the Cooper S is a BMW twin-power turbo 2-liter twin-scroll turbocharged inline-4 engine. It's a dual overhead cam, 16-valve power plant with direct injection and double vanos. It puts out 189 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and 207 pound-feet of torque at 1350 RPM. This engine is paired to the optional 8-speed automatic transmission with manual shiftability, and power is delivered to all 4 wheels via this one's available All4 all-wheel drive system. Premium unleaded is recommended, and with a 16.1 gallon fuel tank, EPA estimates are about 22 mpg in the city and 31 mpg on the highway. It has a McPherson strut front suspension and a multi-link rear suspension. It also has 4-wheel disc brakes, with the front ones being vented. Curb weight for this one is about 3,600 pounds.
The rear door panels also have some pretty big storage areas. You do have storage areas on the back of both front seats. You also have rear air vents. Got coat hooks on either side back here as well. So I'm about 6'1", and I put the driver's seat roughly where I'd have it if I was driving. And space is actually not too bad. I feel like I could actually be alright riding back here for a trip. It's not the biggest, not the most spacious in the world, but I do have a little bit of headroom. My head's not touching the ceiling quite yet. My legroom is alright, but I'm decently comfortable back here. It's, for something called a Mini, it's a surprisingly alright back seat. Does have dual exhaust and your rear wiper.
With the rear seats up, the Countryman offers 17.6 cubic feet of cargo space. Fold the rear seats down and you now have 47.6 cubic feet.
Of course, you can fold down the back seat backs as well. As you saw earlier, the fuel cap is also on the passenger side. Anyhow, thanks for checking out this tour of this 2019 MINI Countryman. And as always, stay on the lookout for future tours.